We're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the L3R3 podcast with myself, my buddy Hard Days Mike, and my buddy Twan. Before we into anything this week, we have to talk about what we've been playing and what's going on. Mike, I know what you've been playing, so you're going to start us off. What have you been
Um,
playing, bud?
um, I've been playing a lot of Dark Tide.
Mm.
Lots of Dark Tide. That's all I do now. I don't have a life outside of Dark Tide and work. Lots of Dark Tide. Lots of killing in the name of the God Emperor. Lots of smiting the heretic. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Totally didn't have a rage-inducing day because of that game today, but lots of fun.
Good. Glad to
Lots
hear
of
that.
fun. No, yeah, but other than that, nothing much. I just want Doom in the Dark Ages. I just don't fucking care anymore for anything in life. I just need to survive until that game comes out. That's all I need. The two things I need: survive long enough for Mittens and survive long enough to play Doom in the Dark Ages. That's all I need.
Those are goals right now.
Dude, I need Doom. I need it so bad. I keep watching that gameplay over and over, and I'm like, the fact that they're like, we don't want you to dude, just stand your ground and fight like that. I just want it. Like, I want to feel like a fucking tank, just bulldozing through a bunch of enemies, but still have to like work for it. You know what I mean? Like, I love that. Oh,
Well, May 18th, bud.
yep. I got the 2-day early access though. I pre-ordered it for $100.
May
Okay.
16th. I might do that. I wanted to get the statue thing, and I maybe still might, but odds are good. I'll probably just get the digital thing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you've been playing Dark Tide, and Twan, what have you been
Oh, I've been
playing?
playing a few things. I've been playing a few things, mostly racing games, honestly. Because after I did my after I finished the early
Mostly what
access and
games?
Yeah,
mostly racing
that's what
games,
Oh,
yeah, I'm
it's
glad, Matt.
mostly
I'm
racing
so
games I've
happy you
been
heard that
playing.
too, Matt.
okay. I thought you said something else, Twan. Continue.
Yeah, me too.
Wait, what did you thought? What did you thought I said?
I
Now I'm
thought you
curious.
said something that would be frowned upon.
That would be very
It's all
frowned
good.
upon.
But
That's
continue.
funny.
Continue, bud.
Continue.
Uh, so okay. Anyway, I've been playing a lot of racing games lately. Like especially after I finished the Tokyo Extreme Racer early access um, content, so I'm kind of disappointed about that. I was really enjoying that. That's such a good game, and now it's like, okay, now I'm at a point where I'm just waiting, for the full game to release. I think they said like 4 months or something like that, so it's not too long, but still a bit of a wait. Just in the meantime, I was playing some other games. Yeah, I actually took my PSP out, and I wanted to play some Initial D Street Stage. It's a nice little arcade racing game on the PSP. And unfortunately, my there's as I was trying to play the game, the UMD drive just started going all weird and it was like freaking out, like it was like screaming, and the game was taking a long time to load. I'm like, okay, something's
Hmm.
wrong here, So I had to I had to look on the internet, say, okay, what's the problem? And then thankfully, it was actually a pretty easy fix. I just had to get some 3-in-1 oil, just put some, put it on the gears and all that kind of stuff, and then boom, that fixed it right up. So yeah, I was playing that on the PSP. And then after all, other than that, I've also been playing Tokyo Extreme Racer 3 on the PS2. I've been playing a good amount of that as well. And yeah, and I think I told you just before the show started that I finally got the arcade machine working today. And I've been playing that for I was playing that for
Oh.
well over an hour. It's just such a good game. I'm just so glad that machine is working now. You not know how much pain and suffering I had to go through to get that thing working.
I
Like
have a
that's
pretty good idea,
Twan,
basically
Twan
what you just
literally
said.
had to kill people to get that thing working.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
And you
insane.
know,
Like I literally had to like even today, like I was getting some issues, and I was just I actually almost ran into a wall and put my head through the wall. Like that's how like frustrated
yeah.
I was.
Sorry.
Like I was like this close to like destroying my wall.
Oh
Twan's
my
But
just
it
god.
was
rebutting walls.
like, but man,
Uh,
after all that pain, it's finally running. It's flawless. Everything in the cabinet's working. Force feedback's good. Shifter's good. Card reader's good. Audio's good. I was just so happy. Like even my brother's friend was there, and like he's like everyone's like taking turns on it. Like holy shit. It's just cool. It's like it's such a party
mhm.
trick too. Just having a whole ass arcade machine in the house, like not meant for a house. It's just like it's just so cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
that's I mean, that's what I want to do
Ty,
right
do I
now.
sound better? Ty in the
Uh,
chat said I sounded low.
oh,
So I fixed it
okay.
on my end, or at least I did. I think I did. Let me know in the chat. Continue
Anyways,
though, Tone.
that's about what I've been doing. I just want to play that mission game right now. It's so good. But
Gotcha.
yeah. All right,
So
Michaela.
as for myself, okay, yeah, I'm good now. Yeah, I don't know why it set my mic to like 15% out of 100, so that was cool.
Oh,
But we're good now. But as for what I've been playing, I mean, Mike knows. Because Mike literally sent me a message today. Pick a fucking game
yeah,
and
I was
stick to
playing
it.
Dark Tides, and it
And
was like
I
Matt has
couldn't.
launched a game. Matt has launched a game. I'm like fucking back on. I'm like,
Dude, I was playing like Uncharted, and then I was like, I want to play Outer Worlds, and then I played Skyrim, and then I went back to Uncharted, and I was like, I'll play Outer Worlds, I guess. And I don't know what to play because all I want to play is Avowed. And I'm bummed about that because I like everything Xbox has released this generation. I thought it was going to be like the day before at like 7 p.m. Because that's usually how they like. I remember that's how what Starfield did. It might have been 7 or 8 p.m. I can't remember, but Starfield did
Wait,
it.
is Avowed available right now?
No, it's
Okay.
available Thursday, early access. It's available
Okay.
Thursday at 1 p.m.
Okay. Because
Eastern.
I was confused for a sec. Because yeah. All right.
Uh, but I was looking forward to that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. So then I would have done the show tomorrow with Ham, got off the show, made a video, and then just played the game the whole night. And that would have been awesome. But I gotta do the show with Ham, not play Avowed, play some other game, any other game, I guess, go to bed, wake up, make
I like how you
food.
said go to bed. Go to bed. You're like,
Yeah,
I don't know what. It was so funny.
just
Uh,
disgusted by the thought of it. Go to bed, wake up, make food, take a shower, then hopefully the game's available to play then, and even then I can't really play it because I got to make a video, and then I got to go into work, and then finally I'll get to play it, which stinks. But it's besides the point. Uh, in the meantime, like I said, I've just been playing pretty much anything to pass time. I made a new save on Skyrim on like 3 different platforms. I've actually been playing a little bit of that on PlayStation just because I've never played Skyrim there and I own it. And I was like, okay, let me just do some stuff on there, I guess. Just to get some serotonin of like feedback of like unlocking an achievement in the game for the first time
yeah,
in years. Um,
I know that feeling. Goddamn.
but other than that, it's a desperate just I don't know next 48 hours until the Val gets here. Uh, Ty says the Val looks pretty good for sure. It's just a bit weird that the advertising seems lackluster. It's almost like PlayStation fan bases needed to trump up full hype. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would agree. I think everything Xbox advertises is quite lackluster, or all their
Yeah, I don't know what the
advertising
hell's
for
wrong with
everything.
them. Like, I
Like,
really don't. I don't understand it. I
I
think they're at
think
that point. Oh, go on. Sorry.
no, no. So what you're gonna say? Because I have a theory on it.
No, it's funny. It's like I almost feel like they don't even really give a shit anymore, and they're just more like waiting for if they can make all the money back when they finally release it, like multi-platform. Like I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't want to say they don't give a shit, but like I feel like they know, like, hey, this is gonna go on PlayStation eventually, and we'll push it like crazy.
yeah.
Um,
I half agree with that too. I think it's a bit of that, and I also think it's the fact that I mean, you look at the I forget. I don't know exactly what the numbers are. I know they weren't good. The console isn't selling really at all.
yeah, like at all.
It's pretty much stopped selling at this point. So like I think they know that the people who are excited for Avowed, most of them, not all of them, but most of them on the console side of things are like already into Game Pass, and I feel like they're as far as they're concerned, their advertising is Game Pass,
Yeah,
which I don't agree with that. Because quite frankly, they don't even do a good enough job promoting Game Pass, really. Outside of like, here's a sizzle reel of some games, and they throw the Game Pass logo at the end of it. It's like they don't really advertise anything they do properly anymore. Quite frankly,
They really don't.
um,
They really, really don't.
so like, I agree with you on that sense, Ty. I think the marketing is quite terrible, but at the same time, I mean, I guess the standards are low because I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's not any worse than most everything else that they've marketed this generation. The only thing that they've really marketed,
Yeah, remember
like the
Hellblade 2? Like that was terrible.
yeah, terrible marketing for Hellblade 2. And like the only thing they've really marketed, like seemed to give a shit about, was Halo,
And
and then
Starfield.
also and then Starfield.
Yeah.
Outside of that, they really didn't seem to give a shit about anything else. Um, which I don't agree with it, but I guess it is what it is. I'm not calling the shots there. All I know is I'm excited for Avowed and I can't wait to play it. Richie says, "Imagine if the Xbox servers go down when Matt comes back from work, dude. If that happens,
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll
there's an
fucking
Xbox outage. Microsoft's like, it's our turn now. You know?
if
I'll turn now.
I'll tell you what I'll do if that happens. I'll impulse buy it off of Steam. I'll
Yeah.
No,
impulse buy it
yeah.
off of Steam. That's what I'll do.
I don't blame you.
Um, just
I'm
to play it
considering
like
actually just buying it on Steam. I'm not even lying. I might do it.
you go for it. I mean, I like if I were to buy it off Steam, I just go to gg.deals. So I'm pretty sure it's like $40 there.
You think it could run on Steam Deck?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Outer Worlds runs. I mean, technically runs on Steam Deck. Doesn't run amazing.
That's another question.
That game is quite poorly optimized. Um, let's see. Raichi also says last time Xbox had a good advertising was Forza Horizon 5. Forza Horizon 5 also did have good advertising.
It did.
Um, Raichi says Prophet Keeley will promote it like crazy when the PS Port is ready. I'm sure he will.
Oh, dude,
Plus,
yeah.
just wait
I
for
fucking love that. Who said that?
Raichi.
Dude, that guy's awesome.
Also, just wait for later this spring, like when Forza Horizon 5 and Indiana Jones hit PlayStation. Advertising for that is probably going to be pretty loud.
Yeah.
So get ready for that. Ty asks if you were the CEO of Microsoft, would Phil Spencer still have a job? That's hard to say. I'd say yes because I don't know who else you would put there. Quite frankly, I don't know who
I
else you
also
would
think
put
like
there.
he's the only reason they're profitable right now.
Exactly. As much as I don't love what they're doing, and I really don't like what they're doing, but like at the end of the day, kind of what Mike just said. Like, if they weren't doing what they're doing, I mean, put it this way. I mean, when did they start this whole multi-platform initiative? Like last year around this time is when they did their business update. And before that, the console wasn't selling. And after it, the console isn't selling. So it's like is what they're doing really hurting the console, or is what's hurting the console just the fact that PlayStation has too much mind share at this point, and it really doesn't matter what Xbox does. They're just kind of like they're kind of in the I don't know what you call it.
See, the thing is, though, PlayStation as right now is like the bro console. You know, that's like the default console.
Exactly, it's the default thing to have. Like
Yeah.
I use the example of like your grandmother knows what a PlayStation is.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like a 30-70 chance she knows what an Xbox is. And honestly, that's probably being very generous.
It doesn't help the fact that, like, let's be honest, like the naming convention for like Xbox consoles is like
Exactly.
terrible. Like
Exactly
if
that.
you look on Facebook Marketplace, people aren't even like listing the consoles their correct
Yeah.
name. They'll be like
No.
Xbox Series X, and it'll be like the Xbox One or the Xbox Series One, and it's like they don't even know.
They
Like
don't
the
know
people
what it's.
selling their console don't even know what it is. You
And I'll
know?
tell you that used to be a joke before the generation. Like where it was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my
But
grandma's not going to know what
no,
console to get."
no,
And
but it's a big deal.
even I was like, "Well, just ask for like the new console." But like at a certain point, Twan's kind of right where it's like dude, like off the top of my head, I have to actually think about how many generations it's been for Xbox.
Yeah.
Because they don't just Xbox One, Xbox Two, Xbox Three, Xbox Four.
Yeah.
It's fucking the Xbox, the original Xbox, the 360. Everybody thought it would go from 360 to 720. It goes from 360
Yeah.
to one. It goes from one to series. It's like, dude, and it's not just an Xbox problem, dude. Microsoft sucks at naming things. Just in general, they're bad at it. Like
Yeah.
I believe the Surface also has the exact same problem. It all they just stink at it. They also rebranded their then they also recently rebrand Office to something really stupid. Like
Yeah, I think we still
Isn't it
want.
like
I was trying to
Microsoft
find Office.
365 now
Yeah,
or
yeah. Like
something?
I was
something
trying to
like
find
that.
Office on my phone, right? But I couldn't find it. I was like, where is it? And then I noticed that they rebranded it to like what was it called? And they even like
Three,
changed like
Microsoft.
the logo
It's
and
something
everything.
weird, right? It's
Let
something
me
really
yeah,
weird.
let me. I'm looking for it right
I
now.
think it's
Yeah,
three
M,
sixty
yeah,
five,
M365 Copilot
Yep.
or some shit. Like I was like, what the hell is
Yeah,
this?
which
it's
is
like,
just
what the
so
fuck are you
dumb.
doing?
I couldn't
It's
find. I was
Like,
just
just so dumb.
I was like, did I delete it by accident? I couldn't find it. And then I was like, I realized that they changed it. Like,
Yeah. But I mean, to answer Ty's question of would Phil Spencer still have a job if I was to see, I'd say yeah, because partly like I said, I don't know who else can do it. And to Mike's point, as much as we don't love the strategy, it's like he's making them money right now. He's
well,
making them, and quite frankly, I mean, he's making them more money than they've ever made. So I don't agree with it, but it's like,
a part of me thinks the multi-platform strategy isn't really Phil's idea. I think that's just something that's kind of forced
yeah,
upon
I
him.
wouldn't
yeah,
disagree either.
yeah,
That's
I
what I
kind
yeah.
of feel
think.
like that's
Yeah.
definitely wasn't a part of the original plan, but it's
I
just
think
like
he
Mm-hmm.
definitely like if it was
it.
actually Phil's call, I think you'd want to make things exclusive. Personally,
The
Yes.
thing is like I'm kind of a little 50-50. I wouldn't be surprised if he still wouldn't mind certain things being multi-platform, but I
yeah,
really don't think like he wants as many as them to be. But it's like it's
yeah,
really out of his call. At the end of the day, it's like it doesn't matter. I don't say it doesn't matter because it's a good discussion to have, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's just kind of like they don't almost have really a choice, do they? Like their consoles aren't
yeah,
selling. If they're not pushing
yeah,
consoles, how's their Game Pass subs gonna go up?
yeah,
I mean,
Yep.
they don't. No one wants a PC. It's like, okay, that's true, but why the fuck are they not on Steam? Like that Gabe
Yeah.
Newell said like a year or two ago that he would love to have it on Steam,
yeah,
but
Yeah, that's nuts to me that that's still. I mean, we talked about it a little bit like 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
yep,
Like, dude, it's insane to me that Game Pass isn't on Steam, especially with the blessing of Gabe Newell. It's already out there. He wants like he thinks it would be awesome to have it on Steam. And
yep.
Phil Spencer's talked at length about like this reality in which Steam is on Xbox. How are you not in conversations to put Game Pass on Steam? If you're
It
both
has to
just
be.
if you're
I don't
just
know.
both
Sorry, go ahead.
talking about each other perpetually, how is this like maybe they're holding it for like next generation, like,
or yeah,
and kicking things off like, hey, Xbox Game Pass is on Steam and Steam is on Xbox or
yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
maybe they're
I think maybe Microsoft wants something out of it as well. Like they want,
I'm
hey,
No, it
if you
but
definitely is
what
like if you
because
yeah,
want us to put Game Pass on Steam, let us put Steam on Xbox, kind of thing. You
well,
know?
so the thing is
sure,
what makes Game Pass, Microsoft, and everything work so well is the fact that with Game Pass, it's on their storefront, so they can always have that. We're gonna get some money regardless. If someone actually ends up buying this game, we're still gonna get a kickback from that regardless, and they
mm-hmm,
have absolute control over everything. Still at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if the developers still getting their money or people are still subscribed to Game Pass. They have absolute control over that store, its
yeah,
image, etc., etc., etc. If Steam is, get, someone buys a Game Pass sub, I don't know. See, that's the thing is I don't really know how it all works at the end of the day. I don't know who gets the kickbacks from what, who, what, and where. I think it's just because they don't know how to make it more profitable for them yet. I'm not even kidding. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're in that like end game phase to find out how. Not end game, like they're about to fucking close down end game, but they have an idea now.
yeah,
Um, and I'm hoping it's we get it sometime soon because I personally would love that. I'd use Game Case. Yeah, that's Game Pass.
yes,
Game Pass.
yes, yes,
Game
no,
Pass. I'd use Game Pass a lot more if I could use it on Steam. I would actually
yeah,
buy games more. like through
Yeah.
Game Pass, like Game Pass. I'd use it more.
Game PS.
Like, dude, I would. It's just Game Pass is Game. I just want to call it Game Pass now, but is awesome. But it's freaking awesome. But it's like using that app, even though I'm not gonna lie, it
Mhm.
has gotten better. Isn't
Yeah.
it? There's still times when the game launches, shit like DLSS and ray tracing is fucking broken. Hell, even Call of Duty had an issue at launch, and they own
Yes.
that bitch.
That's
Like,
that
Yeah.
that is one thing that they could do. Like everybody already has a bias towards the Xbox app itself on PC. Like one way to actually fix that, or not fix it, but like to seriously relieve it, is like make sure that when your first party game launches, it supports all the things that it supports on Steam on your launcher.
yeah,
Like it's nuts. Like, dude, if like it's silly that a game can come out and it's like Starfield, for example, one of the biggest games Xbox has ever released. It's like when did that game get DLSS on Steam? Like a couple of months
Yeah.
before
yeah,
And
before the
fans had to
PC
yeah,
launcher.
themselves,
yeah.
like, when it
And
came
it's
out.
because they have a better beta access like peer thing. They don't on There's technically that whole early access thing on Xbox and the Xbox launcher, but it's not as like just one click and your update goes out. It
Mm-hmm.
needs to still go through like certification processes, which is why I was even talking to Bill about this a while ago. He has a lot of these racing games, and he's like, "Why do they always launch early access on like Steam first?" And it's because they can just update it more frequently. They can get
Yeah.
feedback on things more easier, or like roll out things or check things. And it's not saying like Xbox's way of doing it's terrible or anything like that. It's just from what I understand and from the trend at least I've been seeing, it looks just that's just simply easier. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that needs addressed, and I understand it can't be addressed for like every game, but specifically your first party. Like
yeah,
one argument I hear a lot is like, oh, in fact, I was listening to Xbox too, and Jez brought up like multiple times over the past however many years of like one reason you don't see that, or you don't see like instant like parity with Steam on updates, is because of Microsoft's like position being a company that's provides security for different countries, cybersecurity, that is,
yeah,
for different countries. Like they aren't willing to risk like some bad actor being like, oh, we're gonna hit you with a virus. We're just gonna put something in here and we're just gonna hit you with a virus. And it's like, okay, fair enough. Third party, I get it. You can't take risks like that all the time. That's totally fair. But like your first party, like I doubt Obsidian's gonna try to fucking hit you with a virus or some
yeah.
shit. I
Like
doubt I doubt you got to worry about that. Like your first
there needs
party
to
should
be
be good to
something.
go. Exactly. Your first party should
There
be
needs to be
good to go.
something.
And I don't know like when they get that in order, but that would be like a very big step, especially considering the fact like I mean, let's be real. I know the industry's huge and I know I'm just kind of being hyperbolic, but there's not a lot of third party on Xbox. And granted there is, but like just in like how much
Yeah,
they own, a lot of shit is first party on Xbox. Like you can get that taken care of with many different studios. Like all of Bethesda, all of Activision, all of your first party studio, like just get that stuff taken care of. It would make people a lot more willing to use your platform. I'll say that. Ty says Phil is more open to multi-platform, but regardless if he is or not, he has deliverables and he's clearly falling short. So the revenue needs to come from somewhere. That somewhere is PlayStation. Well, yeah, Phil. Like,
didn't he
so
even
this
say he
is
has to answer the shareholders? He said that once.
exactly
Yes.
yes, exactly. You said it. Is like as much as Phil may or may not like the multi-platform strategy, it really doesn't matter. Like once they bought ABK, it didn't become his decision anymore.
Mhm.
It's now the shareholders. It's now the shareholders because the money that was used to buy ABK to make that happen didn't just appear out of nowhere. So it's like you're kind of beholden to your shareholders and in regards to like, how are we going to recoup this money? Like, what's the quickest way to recoup this money for all these people who are invested in the company? And I don't think it's really at that point. It's not really Phil's call.
Yeah,
It's
it
it's
is, and
more
it's
it's more Satya's and the shareholders. So it stinks, but it is what it is, and we're here right now. He also says there's likely conversations to put Game Pass on Steam, but Steam is probably asking for a lot of cash for it. The best trade would be Steam going on the next Xbox console and Game Pass being on Steam. Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Was like
because they'd be
maybe they're.
taking a cut from these games being sold. Like
Mm-hmm.
they'd be taking the cut, not Microsoft. It'd be
Yeah.
one sec.
Hey,
Sorry, I was playing Dark Tide.
no, you're good.
Yeah, go on, Matt. Sorry.
But yeah, exactly what Mike said. Also, I think it probably makes sense for them, or makes sense to them, to wait until next generation before they start making like massive sweeping changes like that. Because I feel like, to Tae's point, to Mike's point earlier, they want something out of it. Like giving or putting Game Pass on Steam, sure, is beneficial to both companies, but I think Microsoft, being Microsoft, probably want a little bit more out of that than just that. So whatever that is, we'll see. But let's actually get into a topic here. Speaking of companies and like things that just fucking rule that companies and CEOs say. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a post. I think I quote tweeted on Blue Sky like last week.
Oh, is it
Okay,
about the Veilguard?
it sure is.
Okay.
EA CEO, he says to break out beyond the core audience, games need to directly connect to the evolving demands of players who increasingly seek shared world features and deeper engagement alongside high quality narratives. And this headline says Dragon Age Veilguard might have sold better if it was live service. Now, I'm going to pass it to you guys, but I want to say off the bat that fucking stinks. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a CEO say. But before I give my thoughts on it, I'll pass it off to you guys, whoever wants to go first and talk about these comments.
Um, it is dumb. I mean, like Veilguard had a trillion different things going against it, and I'm not even talking about like what Twitter thought. That game had
Mm-hmm.
one of the craziest development cycles I've like seen. Period. Like that game was
Mm-hmm.
like canceled, reborn to multiple different things, and which actually end up being shown in the game. You can tell by like how the world is like because they at one point it was supposed to be like a multiplayer cooperative game, and I'm pretty sure it was one that was more like an MMO or like a kind of more arcadey type game, and it's like in the end that's what we got, a combination of those kind of two ideas minus obviously it being online. But
Yeah.
that game had like for example like on like launch day on Steam that thing had 150,000 copies sold. Like at least
Yeah.
that's what it was, 150,000 or about that on day one, and now it's just PC, just PC.
Yeah.
We don't really know what the consoles numbers were. We really have no idea whatsoever, and that is considered a massive commercial flop. I don't know. It's to me, it's concerning for a lot of reasons that a game that has 150,000 players on one platform.
Yeah.
Um, and it's I'm not saying like that game was going to be a huge success regardless. I didn't think it was going to be, um, especially with a lot of the weird discussion going around it that still puzzles me to this day. Um, but I feel like we are going to be seeing that point where yeah, it's a lot of a lot of these developers are probably going to feel like shit isn't really profitable unless they're like having constant money from it, and everyone's like, what's up with these like one-off developers that a lot of developers that make these like single player games that are great. I don't know. I feel like they obviously made a great game, right? They always do it, but when they start growing, right, their company gets bigger. and they need to start making more money back in return. And I kind of worry because this indie game company does it. I'm like, yeah, but once that indie game
Yeah.
company starts to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and they go from a team of like 20 or 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to hundreds, it's like, yeah, they're gonna have to start making money back as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that a lot, where it's kind of like a, everyone's like, no, you don't understand, Mike. It's because the game was woke. I'm like, whatever. I'm not saying that's not the case or whatever. Whatever you want to fucking say, you fucking weirdo. But it's like that. It's games could sell like in the hundreds of thousands and it still not be enough. Like it's just proof. Like the proof is right there. Everyone's like, well, CD keys. I'm like, that game still had to be bought though to be on CD keys. By
Yes.
the way.
Yeah.
So, um, it is kind of concerning because like what are the numbers these games need to reach to be successful, and what I don't know. And I think at the end of the day, they need to be profitable after the fact they're sold. I don't think just selling the game is enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Like, I was actually having a discussion with my cousin about this earlier today. I was like, man, like I feel bad for developers like after the PS5, because just to take advantage of like a console like the PS6, for example, is gonna cost so much money to the point where I feel like it might not even be worth it. I mean, just right now, the PS5, just to take a full advantage of that is like super expensive. Just imagine like even just like the first party games on PlayStation, right? How they had to spend like millions of dollars, for example, to make Spider-Man.
Hundreds of million. Yeah.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And that's just to take advantage of the PS5. And some people might even argue the PS5 could even go beyond that. Some people say like, oh, Spider-Man 2 is kind of like a PS4 game. So technically they might even be able to push it beyond that, and that still costed them like $100 million. Could you imagine like trying to take full advantage of a PS6? I imagine how expensive that'd be. Like, is it even worth it at that point? Like, how many copies you need to sell back just to make a return? You know,
It, it's it's also like you could argue too. Like, actually, I want to let you go finish your point, Juan. Sorry, I just fucking
I
just
mean, no, I mean, you can continue. I mean, I pretty much said what I wanted to say for the
it's
most
like you're
part.
right though. It's like not even just like developmental costs of taking advantage of something. It's the fact of how far
Yeah,
a lot of these companies got to continuously push the envelope forward.
yeah,
And I know everyone's like, well, this random company, they did it once again though. They're going to be expected to now go even bigger and
Yep.
larger the next time. And I
yeah.
keep
They
seeing,
you
well,
always
this
gotta
small company
constantly
did it.
one up yourself.
That's
Yeah.
exactly. I keep seeing, well, this indie. I'm like, yeah, but now they're going to be, and if it continues to do so, and I'm not saying they release an indie game once every other decade. That's the same exact indie game. Evan, I know I always
Yeah.
see those comments as well. But I'm talking about when they have to grow, because these companies have to grow if they're growing their employee base. They have to be out. They have to be outdoing what they did previously. They have to be reaching more new audience. They have to be. They have to. That's just the
Mhm.
truth. That's business. That's
Mm-hmm.
how that works. And I there's got to be a ceiling, and I think we're hitting that ceiling right now, or at least
Mhm.
some of these studios are. And I'm not saying there isn't more issues with certain games, why people aren't playing them.
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting the fucking weirdo Twitter's nut jobs opinions on shit. I'm just saying it as it is that we're hitting a ceiling with not just the video game industry either, by the way. But that's a different conversation. Uh, but it just kind of is what it is. Yeah.
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 Uh. So I mean, yeah. This comment to me is just okay. Okay. So Ty in the chat says, let's also forget BioWare made the game they wanted. Single player game with literally no multiplayer, no live service. EA listened and BioWare flopped. But we criticize EA and not the devs. Well, the devs got criticized. They lost their jobs.
Mhm.
They like that's the ultimate critique is you've lost your job.
Yeah.
You are now out of a job. That is one hell of a critique. Um so and as far as we're criticizing EA and not the devs. Like I said, they lost their jobs, but for EA, it's like, and under what sun would any fan of Dragon Age say, You know what would have been awesome for Veilguard? You know what would have fixed all of its problems? Is that if it was live service.
Yeah.
Under what sun would any fan of that series say that? That would be like me going, I sure hope Elder Scrolls 6 is a live service. I hope it's a battle royale.
Oh man, I hope it's a racing game.
Yeah, you know how bad that idea is? How unbelievably bad. And here's the thing, cuz here's what happens when this hypothetical Dragon Age live service game that thankfully didn't get made. Here's what happens when that does get made. It flops and we're in the exact same position. Devs in fact maybe even more devs are out because every studio seems to be banking so unbelievably hard, or every publisher seems to be banking so unbelievably hard on live service as this like be all end all way of making unlimited money from now until the end of time. The reality is most games don't do that. Most games don't do that. Tice is a high. Okay, whoa. Okay, a lot of people. So, oh, Ham's here. Ham says, I'm going to hack Twan's cabinet motherboard. It will be the first Trojan Twan.
That's fucking funny.
That's insane, Ham. Raichi says, hopefully it's delayed again so you can 100%. Oh, he's talking to Ty there. Raichi says, Halo Infinite would have succeeded if it was a date simulator. Agreed. Ty says, a shared experience with high quality narratives is what he said, and I can promise you that's a better outcome than the garbage BioWare put out. A lot of people love that garbage. A lot of people love that garbage.
Yeah, one man's trash is another man's treasure. You know?
A lot of people love that garbage, just like a lot of people would have loved whatever that guy says, but also a lot of people would have hated it. My point is, if you want to make a game like and quotes a shared experience with high quality narratives, Dragon Age isn't that. Again, to my point of the Elder Scrolls wouldn't be that. That's not the franchise you do that with. You make an original thought, an original idea with that in mind. You don't take something that everybody knows to be this one thing and then say, actually, guys, in retrospect, we should have done is made it something completely fucking different. Is completely flip the MO of what it is. Because that's not what the fans...
That's actually the problem of that game in the first place, is that it was going to be like 40 different things. They never really had a clear image for that game, and that's one of its biggest problems. It went through so many identity changes that like it was going to be a more of like a multiplayer focus, interactive, yada yada yada, and then they change it. It's just, to me, it's like that game was just, they had to get something out, and I don't know. There's a lot.
Ty says, I mean, Mass Effect 3 has multiplayer as well and still is great. Yeah, but the multiplayer isn't the focus of Mass Effect 3. I've played Mass Effect 3 like at this point like twice. And that's not like I didn't play it back in the day. Like on this generation of consoles, I played Mass Effect 3 twice. I've not once booted up the multiplayer for that game. I've not once had a thought of booting up the multiplayer for that game. At the end of the day, Mass Effect 3 is the best game in the series, in my opinion. I know people, debate and have different thoughts and whatever. Mass Effect 3 for me is the best Mass Effect. And it's not because of the multiplayer. Even though the multiplayer, from what I hear, is totally fine. It's fun, it's engaging, it has good maps, it has cool guns, it has different game modes from what I understand. That's really awesome. I don't have a problem with a game that's like, hey, we make a and that's just the way games used to be back on the 360 is, hey, we have this awesome single player thing, but then there's also this awesome multiplayer thing. But today it doesn't seem like that's like a game like Space Marine 2, that's rare. You don't often get, hey, we have this cool single player and this awesome multiplayer. That's not the norm now. A lot of publishers and developers are like, it's got to be one or the other. It can't be both. And I'll tell you right now, if I had to pick between let's make Dragon Age the Veilguard a live service or whatever it was that we got last year, I'm picking whatever it is we got last year 100 out of 100 times. That's all I'm saying with that. Um, Ham says the side stories of Dragon Age was hot and cold, fun game and good ending. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think some of the side quests were really good. Some of them were kind of written, hit or miss, hit or miss. But I thought the game overall was really fun, and I thought that ending. I think that ending for Dragon Age Veilguard is the best thing BioWare's ever done. And I get it. It's like a 4 or 5 hour part of like a 90-hour game. It's a fucking huge game, but that's like the peak of anything BioWare's ever done to me. Is that 5 hours? Rachie says, I agree, the dialogues and the MP. Okay, so yeah, it's just talking about Taya's comment. But no, I see where you're coming from, Taya. And like, I get what you're saying, and that, you know, at the end of the day, devs do need to be held accountable when they miss the mark. But at the same time, it's like they were held accountable. They've lost their jobs. There's that's about as accountable as you can be held, is just straight up losing your job. So like, would going live service or having, as he put it, a shared experience with a high quality narrative, would that have saved Dragon Age Veilguard? I I guess we can disagree on this, but I really don't see how that would save Dragon Age Veilguard. Maybe I'm fucking crazy, but that to me doesn't seem like the answer, honestly. And I'll tell you what. I saw a thing today looking for topics to talk about today, that actually ties directly to this, and we can have more thoughts on this if you guys have anything else to say. But it ties directly to this. It says ex BioWare lead says he'd have quit if EA mandated live service elements, which is like, I already know what a lot of people would say to that. Is like, okay, well then fucking see you later. But at the end of the day, the person who made the game, the person who had the vision for the game, that was their vision. And if they came to them and said, "Yo, actually, you're gonna do this," they felt so strongly about it that they said, "I would have just fucking quit."
Yeah.
So like, you know, I don't think one side's 100% right or 100% wrong. I just think there's a middle ground, and I don't think that game would have been quote unquote saved by doing what that guy's suggesting. CEO Andrew Wilson. God damn, how long has he been CEO? I swear I remember him being CEO of that company like in 2010. Jesus. He's just hanging in there, I guess. Good for him. But yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else have anything to say about Dragon Age, the Veilguard?
No, I was gonna say
No. You,
No.
you were gonna say what?
No, I'm gonna be buried in Twitter shit.
Oh, well, yeah, a lot of people.
I'm just unhinged. Yeah, but I'm good.
All right. Twan, are you still there?
I'm actually fucking. I'm retarded. I was talking this whole time, but my
nice.
but my fucking my thing was muted. I was like talking, and then I just realized, like, why aren't they responding to me? And then I just realized, I was like, oh my! I looked at my mic and it was like muted. I forgot to unmute
That's
it.
hysterical.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
I said a good amount of stuff. I was like, man, these guys are just ignoring me. I was like,
that's awful.
Just talking all over you.
All right, okay.
That's
so I'm glad.
awful.
But
yeah.
anyways, I was gonna, because you're talking about Mass Effect, and I wanted to say something about that. But because I'm pretty sure they even removed the multiplayer in the remastered trilogy. I'm pretty sure, right? Like,
I gotta look at that. I might look at it right now. Because I remember people talking about the multiplayer, and I was like, oh, let me try that. And I don't remember seeing a place where I could try that in the trilogy.
Yeah. We also can't forget Dead Space 2's multiplayer as well. You know, because I even had multiplayer.
Legit didn't even know it had one.
Yeah.
Didn't even know I
Yeah.
had one.
What
Love
game?
Dead Space 2.
Dead
Dead
Space
Space
2
It
2.
had
had
multiplayer.
multiplayer.
Yeah,
Right?
multiplayer. Yeah, it was
Right?
basically just
The fuck?
it was basically like humans versus the necromorphs kind of thing. So
What
like,
the
there's
fuck?
one side that was the necromorphs, and there was one side that were the humans. Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
yeah. It's like, yeah, it was PvP. Yeah,
Huh.
it's pretty jokes. But I think unfortunately I think it's offline now. I think they took it offline recently though. So rip.
Ham also says the sweet loving in Dragon Age Velgar was dragged out and lacking. I felt more attached and attracted to Andreja and Starfield than Lover and Dragon Age Velgar. I mean, well, Andreja's just a shit, quite frankly. But no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Um, but yeah, I actually just booted up Mass Effect 3 on Xbox, and there's no multiplayer there. There's
Okay, so I
not
guess I
there's
got rid of it.
yeah
Because it's weird because I'm pretty sure in the original release of Mass Effect where you actually had to play the multiplayer to get a specific ending, I'm pretty sure. Like there was like
yeah
you
yeah.
got.
I remember that being a talking point.
Yeah. So I
Thankfully,
guess
thankfully, you didn't have to do that.
that's good. Well, I guess the remaster was like they kind of just skips all that, I guess. Because
Yeah,
it's not really relevant to the actual, main story. It's really just it's just a separate thing, for the most part. So,
exactly. Well, thankfully, or I guess not. Thankfully, I mean, it's weird that they wouldn't include that in there. But then again, I feel like there's other examples of games that's like we're bringing back this game, and then like they just conveniently forget
yeah,
the multiplayer.
Like Red Dead Redemption remastered, for example.
Oh, don't even call that rematch. That is so stupid.
Yeah.
That
Well, isn't it
this
technically a port, not really a
it
remaster?
is literally a port. It is literally a port that they refuse to give a 60 FPS update. Like they won't give a 60 FPS update on Xbox, and they won't sell that on Xbox because they know it's stupid.
No.
They know that thing is stupid, and there's no point
It's
for it.
weird because like it's weird how like the Xbox version is technically superior but unsuperior at the same time. It's just kind of weird because you have the extra multiplayer mode, right? But then you also obviously don't have the 60 FPS mode, so it's kind of like
You
it's a
have
bit of a trade.
multiplayer and
You have more
4K.
content, like you have more content, but like it's just at a lower frame rate. So it's
Yeah,
kind of so yeah,
and you can get that cheaper, honestly, most of the time.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's a few examples. Ooh, I was reading Rachel's comment. He says the first character to die in Mass Effect is called Jenkins. Was it a reference? I'm so confused by that.
Yeah,
Maybe I missed something.
I'm pretty sure EA during the 360 era, they pretty much made it mandatory where it's like, okay, you release a single player game, you have to release a tacked on multiplayer mode aside on the side kind of thing,
Hmm.
It's just a thing that they're mandating. Like EA, like in the 360 era. Like for example with Dead Space 2 and Mass Effect 3, it's like, okay, you could release a single player game, but like throw a multiplayer game in there just for the hell of it kind of thing. To kind of see what happens. I think that was just a thing that they were doing that
Yeah,
early.
and it worked. Like a lot of people love that stuff. That's kind of what made the 360 gen so cool.
Yeah.
Was that like that wasn't an exception back then. That
Mhm.
was kind of the rule. Your single player game had a multiplayer.
Yeah, even like I think even Fear had multiplayer modes as well. I don't know if
Yeah,
you remember Fear.
I didn't play Fear back then, but I know it did have multiplayer modes.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
predominantly a single player game. Hey, even Doom.
yes.
I mean, Doom's always been more of a single player game, but it's always had like deathmatch modes. Even Doom
Hmm.
3 had a deathmatch mode as well. Even though no, I don't think much people played it, but hey, it's there.
Yep. I mean, even games that a lot of people would look at as like predominantly single player, like Last of Us, when that launched,
Yeah.
had multiplayer.
And
Uncharted, all the Uncharted's had multiplayer, all of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, it's not like a thing that like, where they didn't even think it would like take off, but like, it got a bit of a cult following those multiplayer modes, and a lot of people usually, remember them pretty fondly too. And it's not like they made it a live service either. They just kind of threw it on there. It's like here it is, here's some maps, have fun, and that's it. And they
Yeah,
didn't really touch it afterwards. So
yeah, yeah. Good old days,
yeah,
but you know, It's 2025 now, and this
You can't do that.
it's-
You can't just release a multiplayer mode and just call it a day. You gotta constantly update that
no,
thing.
because everybody's got fucking
Everything needs to
crippling
be a factory,
ADD,
ADHD, yeah. Yeah.
myself included, and I need to see new content every fucking month on
Yeah, if
your
there's no
game.
if there's no new
Otherwise, my brain
content
just
every
shuts
week.
off.
Yeah, if every month there's not new content, it's over. It's like, why am I still
Yeah,
playing this game?
yeah.
Meanwhile, I feel like most people in the 360 era didn't even get the Call of Duty map packs, and they still had a blast with like the base maps.
Oh yeah.
Through that whole year, or probably even multiple years.
I
I'm
had
sure you
I
can.
had I had many friends who didn't get the Halo map packs when they released. Like they didn't get them until like years and years later.
Yeah,
And we still
it's all
played
fun.
Halo every night,
Yeah,
and it was always still fun every
yeah,
night.
yeah. It wasn't because they had content coming. It was just because the game was just a freaking banger. That's all really what came down to. It's a really fun game.
Ham in the chat says the Bulls are down 42 at half versus the Pistons. Well, shit. God bless them. I wish them well. Hopefully they come back. Probably not. But that's too bad. But moving on, we've got the PlayStation State of Play uh coming
Uh,
tomorrow. A very sudden announcement and a
you think
very
we're gonna
quick.
see some? You think we're gonna see some Microsoft in this showcase?
So I mean, if it is, it would be, what would it be? It would be Forza
Yeah,
or in Indiana Jones. Um, I mean, unless Microsoft announces something else is coming at the State of Play.
yeah, Avowed.
Uh, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ham was literally joking about that before the show.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you say?
about how like watch Avowed get announced at the State of Play. Shadow
That's
drop at the state.
hysterical.
Shadow drop at the State of
That would be so fucking funny. I'm not even gonna lie.
So
Comes
like
out on PlayStation before Xbox.
this is literally what he was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do I think Xbox will be at this show? It wouldn't. Hey, listen, at this point, it really wouldn't surprise me.
Mm.
If I had tuned in and saw Xbox at any point during the show or Phil Spencer just come out, I'd be like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that makes
Or,
sense.
or press the one trailer and it's all you just see like a black screen and all you hear is oh. You know?
Yeah,
Dude,
they
fucking-
they show off at the next Halo.
Oh
They
my
show
god.
off the next Halo at the show. Jesus. Oh my god. That would
Coming
cause
first to PlayStation.
Could you imagine like the next Halo game getting announced at a PlayStation showcase? That'd be
Mark
insane.
Cerny's. Mark Cerny's like exclusive to PlayStation 5.
This is so good for the industry.
Oh
I'll
my
explain
God.
it. Oh,
But
Jesus Christ.
so what do you like? What do you? I mean, I know Mike, you're not on PlayStation, but Twan, what do you think will be at this show? I mean, I think a safe bet is definitely Ghost of Yote.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think that's a safe, that's a safe bet. I think there's gonna be a lot of third parties there. I'm expecting that as well because it said developers from around the world, so I'm assuming there's gonna be a lot of third party. Um, let's see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe something Monster Hunter is there. Like I think there's like I could see
Did
something like that. I
didn't
don't
the
know.
beta for Monster Hunter just get extended because of PlayStation
Oh, I wouldn't be
or
surprised.
PSN absolutely collapsing for 24 hours?
I wouldn't be
Oh yeah, there
surprised
was.
if
Oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
That was
Yeah,
nuts.
Jesus.
I was kind of expecting for them to extend it. If I don't know if they did because I didn't see it, but
They did. They extended it of another day, I guess.
well, that's good on them. Everyone
That's
got
good
their
on that. I don't know why that's so funny. I know you're saying like you're right. It is good that they gave him fucking 5 days, but it's just so funny.
Yeah.
That was so weird, dude. I didn't like hear anything about that until like there's like the next day that it was still down. Like, what the hell's
Honestly,
happening over there?
I wouldn't even have known that this PlayStation Network was down because I was just playing on my PS2 the whole time.
As
Like,
Twan was
I mean,
playing this fucking PS2 the whole time.
you know, so I was like completely oblivious until I
Dude, they
saw
could
that.
shut PSN down for like a month, and it's like a 50-50 shot. Twan will notice it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd only
Uh,
notice it because he's going to download like a PS1 game or something somewhere too.
yeah.
Well, it wasn't working.
That's so funny.
Bill in the chat says COD double XP got extended for 2 or 3 days. So yeah, I guess it extended a few things off the back of
Mhm.
PSN being down. Which I mean, it sucks that it was down, but ultimately that's a good thing, I guess,
Mhm.
for people. So you know, W PlayStation moment, I guess, even though kind of an L, but also W.
But it's not really
Uh,
XP double XP weekend if it's like gonna be on like a Monday or something. It's like
right, that's true.
what's the
They
point?
just They just have an extended 2 or 3 days double XP weekend, but it can only be on the weekend.
Yeah.
Jesus, I'm an idiot. Uh, Bill says WL station moment. Richie, I was out traveling for 2 months when the PSN had the month long problem. That was back in during the PS3. Is that the one you were talking about? Because I remember that,
That shit
and
drove me
24 days,
nuts.
I mean.
And I remember
I was
being
pissed.
I was pretty upset too because I had just
Mag.
gotten Mag and
Yep.
I was like, I
Nope.
can't wait to play this game. And I turned it on and it was like, nope, you're not
Yep.
playing it. And then I was like, oh, well, then I'll play it, later tonight. Nope. I'll play it the next day.
No.
Nope. Just a full month of that. And it
That was really
stunk.
pathetic. That shit actually really pisses me off still thinking about it. That
A
actually
It
really
friend of
makes me
mine,
stunk.
upset.
a friend of mine actually got a 360 during that period because he's like, just screw this. I just wanted to
I
play
Like,
wouldn't
COD.
blame
can you
him.
blame him?
He just
I
got a
wouldn't blame
Like,
him.
360.
And I never played Mag, by the way. Never played it because by the time that was back up, I was like, you know what, fuck it. I was back on I was playing Halo. I was just playing Halo. As I don't like Mag would have been cool to play when I wanted to play it, but
Yeah,
I
eventually
don't even want
you're
to
on
play
the mood.
anymore.
Yeah, you're just not. You don't like you lose that mood to play it. Like so. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what happens to me too. It's like when you're really feeling something, and it's like I'm not feeling it anymore. So you don't play it. Like I'm not feeling it.
yeah,
So
that was a bummer.
yeah.
And I mean, dude, jeez, I tell you, yeah, thankfully I had a 360 and everything back then because dude, if I only had a PlayStation, not being able to play like Call of Duty, obviously Mag. I mean, I would have been playing Killzone around that time, Resistance. Not being able to play any of that, I I would have been pretty. I'd have been pretty upset. I would have been pretty upset
I'm
by that.
upset.
But exactly. Um, but yeah, the PlayStation. Mike, I'm curious. Do you have any thoughts of what might be at the PlayStation show?
This is a PlayStation show.
Yes, there is, bud. Mike's locked in. Mike's very locked
I'm
into the
so
news.
fucking
You've
locked in
been
right
paying
now.
attention this whole time.
I haven't been. You guys were talking about PlayStation. I fucking literally clocked out. I'm not even kidding.
Yep.
I hope it's good.
I also hope it's good.
You think they're gonna announce any PC ports? Astrobot on PC.
Oh
I
my
saw
God. How would
some.
that work, Twan? How would that work? Would that work?
The triggers.
Personally, I don't think it's gonna work. I don't see how.
I hate you.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
see how
hurt
it's
you.
possible.
Well,
Oh
I
my
They
don't
can't
know how
do
they're
it.
gonna get that to work.
There's not enough buttons.
God.
They,
Well,
they
there's
don't
there's
have
a
enough.
gyro and like how are they gonna do the gyro? It's like
Oh my God.
skip around.
PlayStation just releases a $700 like haptic feedback keyboard.
It's just Astrobot riding on a keyboard instead of a PS5 controller.
It's got gyro controls and you can blow into it.
Yeah.
It's the ugliest thing you've
Sorry.
ever seen.
Honestly, like
Oh my God.
so someone just the thought of someone playing Astrobot on PC is just so cursed to me. It's like what were you even doing at that point? Like
You're playing it at a real frame rate.
it's like you're playing this game about like rebuilding a PS5 on your PC. It's just
Nope, they just mod it and make it. They just mod it and make it
Yeah,
PC
yeah,
Builder Simulator.
yeah. Astrobot's just building a PC instead of a PS5.
Yep.
So
Hell
he's
yeah.
getting his video graphics card, and then he's getting his Intel CPU or some shit, That's just
Yep.
the
And it only cost him $5,000. Twan? No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
by the end of the game, Astrobot's just broke.
He's just poor, but he's got a sick PC. Um, but yeah. So the PlayStation Showcase, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's gonna be there. Like I said, I assume Ghost of Yotei. I hope Death Stranding, but I doubt Death Stranding because I think it was also announced today that they're gonna be at South by Southwest talking about Death Stranding. So maybe we don't see that tomorrow. But I do know at some point within like the next month we're supposed to see a new trailer for Death Stranding 2 and hopefully a release date for that. Because I mean, I make fun of PlayStation here and there on the show, but I
Here and
really
there, you're a
cannot.
fucking bot.
I am. I'm a filthy bot,
Mm.
but I cannot wait for Death Stranding 2. I really can't wait for that. And it would be cool to see that tomorrow at the show, but I have a feeling we're not going to. And that's gonna be A-okay. I'm gonna just grin and bear it. I'm just gonna get over it.
Just really, I really hope that we see the Sonic Racing game tomorrow. The Sonic Racing Crossworlds. I'd love to see that actual gameplay on that. That's actually a game I'm looking all really forward to. It's been a while since we got a nice, good kart racing game, so I'd be down for that.
Well, I hope you get to see the thing that you want, Twan.
Like I don't know what else is really coming out this year. I mean, well, the truth is there is a lot of good shit coming out this year, but
Well, yeah,
I
there's a
mean,
ton of awesome shit coming out. But, like, that's kind of my thing is hopefully we see a little bit more from PlayStation. Because obviously we know
maybe
about.
Grand Theft Auto 6 tomorrow, release date.
Oh my god, dude! If they drop that shit, the PlayStation show that. I mean, that off rip is probably the biggest show of the year. Then, like, I mean, well, at least definitely so far. If they drop the
Yeah.
fucking release date for GTA 6.
The Shadow Drop GTA.
The release date's literally Friday.
Yeah. Releases next week.
It's just, yeah, that would be big.
I
But
think that'd actually blow up the internet if that happened.
that would, that absolutely would.
Yeah.
That would completely destroy the internet. But hopefully they have something there besides like Gosyote, first party wise. Like I like the third party stuff too because I mean that's always cool to see that. But like I already know third party everywhere is going to have a fucking crazy year. I don't need more confirmation that that's going to be the case. I just want to know that PlayStation is making a thing that I want. That's kind of really all I care about. And hopefully tomorrow confirms that. And if not, then hey, at least we got third party.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. We'll have to wait and see. What time is it officially tomorrow? It is. What?
I heard there's rumors of a marathon showing up there tomorrow.
5 p.m. Eastern. Wait, what? You said marathon?
Yeah, I heard there's.
Oh,
rumors of
okay,
marathon
my bad.
showing up.
You said marathon, and I was thinking Concord, and I was like,
That's funny.
I was fucking baffled for a second.
No, I'm like dead ass, like the bungee one, the bungee.
No,
one.
no, dead ass Cornosi. No,
We're gonna see on
God.
phone them.
Oh God, this is the most just autist podcast ever. But yeah,
Boston.
like, dude, if Marathon was, I'd be interested to see Marathon just because I want to see
Boston.
what that game
Sorry.
even is.
Yeah.
And also, yes, bustin', like Mike said.
Bussin'.
Bussin'. Like a bus. People.
You gonna get that game on Xbox or PS5?
I mean, if it's
What
free to
game?
play, I'll get it on Xbox.
My game again? Sorry. Oh,
Marathon.
oh yeah.
I mean, we got to see if that game's free to play. Because if that game costs money, I'm not getting it anywhere. To
No.
be totally real with you, unless it's like some amazing thing. But from everything we hear about that game, like people talking behind the scenes about it, it doesn't sound like it's going to be this big amazing thing. It sounds like they want it to be this big amazing thing. And that's always good to have ambitions like that, but like when you hear like ex Bungie developers saying like nobody wants to be making this game right now,
Well,
it doesn't inspire a ton of confidence in the player, to be
mm,
real. Um, but we'll see. I mean, hopefully it's there. Hopefully we see what it is, and hopefully it looks good.
that'd be
And
nice.
hopefully it's free to play. I'd like it to be free to play, but you know, if it's good, then I guess it doesn't matter. Um, but yeah, that's the PlayStation State of Play. 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, which is nice. I actually thought they said it was going to be like 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm kind of glad that it's earlier than that, so I can actually watch it and get my some notes together so we can talk about it tomorrow on the show. Ham, if you're still in chat. Uh,
You can't wait for the show tomorrow.
yeah, I know. I'm thrilled for the show tomorrow. I'm even more thrilled that I'm not going to be playing Avowed afterwards. And I was looking forward to that for like a fucking 2 weeks at this point. But it's cool. I'm very thrilled that I got to wait till 1 p.m. the next day. I'm gonna have a breakdown if I keep talking about that. Let's talk about something else, fellas. Like, oh my god. Actually, I think that's it. I'm gonna be real with you. I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I do think that's it, actually. Um, Fallout. Oh, never mind. That's for the TV show. All right, cool. But yeah, that's the end of the topics for today's episode. But before we get out of here, let's do the outros. Uh, I'm gonna go with Mike. Start us off first, bud, because you've got the
You-
busiest outro of anybody here.
My outro is bussin'.
No cap.
you,
Dead
you know,
ass.
Cap Cornusi.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? I don't even remember what that was from anymore. I just
I
remember
don't
barely
either.
the. the
I just
I
know
just
I
remember the
like
cereal
saying
man. It was from some meme you found on Twitter. I can't remember anymore.
it.
I almost said happy birthday. You can find me next week somewhere fucking on this show. If we do a show, if we don't do a show, we don't do a show. I don't know. That's where I am. I'm probably playing Dark Tide. You'll find me in the Morning Star. That's where you'll find me.
So that's where you'll find Mike. You'll find him here every week, every day, quite frankly, here on this
Yeah.
channel.
And you'll find
Uh,
me here on the days we do the show, Monday, Tuesday. Oh yeah, I guess those are usually
it's
the two
either
days.
it's either Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday.
It's either Monday or Tuesday.
Maybe one day we'll do
Um,
it. Tuesday, who knows? See.
Wednesday? No, we're definitely not doing Wednesday. If we do it Wednesday, then it's a crossover between this and the Two Player Podcast, which is essentially just old Game Train.
Oh yeah, yeah. We would just do. There would be a 4-player podcast then.
That's pretty much what that would be. But
Yeah.
let them know about your channel, Twan. You've amassed
Yeah.
what 2.3 million
Yeah,
subscribers
I'm pretty
over
up
on
there
that
right now.
channel.
I'm a pretty big deal right now.
It's impressive, quite frankly.
Yeah. So yeah, catch me on there, and I'm on Twitter as well. It's me Twan, and I think I'm on Blue Sky, but I can't even say the at the top of my head because it's like so long.
It's dot bsky dot social dot app or
Yeah.
some shit. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, they need to.
it's
They need to
yeah.
do something about that. Like,
It's
Yeah,
stupid.
I don't
It's
know.
dumb.
I don't know why. It reminds me of like when you used to make like a free website back in the day, and you have to do your website dot whatever like WordPress dot org dot net.
You should just stay on Twitter and be mad for the rest of your life. That's what
Yeah.
you should actually do. I take it back.
Yeah,
That's what we
Yeah.
got to do. And look at
Right.
and look at the most awful things possible.
I think
Oh my
Twitter's
God.
really nailed down the algorithm. They've got it down to a science over there.
yeah. Maybe they figured it out.
I never
We
see
definitely got
any
a few
bad
things
things
down to
on
his
Twitter.
science. I'll give it that.
Yeah. Never. I can't make that joke. Not.
Me too.
Oh, God, I almost made that joke. All right. Twan. So that's where you can find Twan. As for myself, you can find me here every week. This show normally Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. For this show with these guys here, And then Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern for the two-player podcast with myself and Ham Solo in the chat. And then Fridays, you can find me on Ham's channel. Ham's channel is in the chat, by the way, TSWS Gaming, also in the description below. And you can find me Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, there on that channel for bullsitting with myself, Woke, Ham, Cozy, Mental 9R, and usually a guest or two during the show, which is a really fun time of the week. And then videos here on the channel every week. I'll be having something out later this week. I'll have a video for Avowed out later this week, so check that out. But with that being said, we're going to get up out of here. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.